Music Mix. After 10:30, we're going to be hearing from Alex and Luke, two young filmmakers from Telford. They're going to be updating us on their latest project. After the news at 10:30, I'm going to be talking to Alex and Luke, two young filmmakers from Telford. I had a chat with them a couple of days ago. Very interesting it is, so please stay tuned for that. And taking us to those headlines at 10:30, it's Harpo and Movie Star. Now, Reduced to Clear is a surrealist comedy short film from 17-year-old filmmakers Luke Allen and Alex Yousefi. The film follows Mike. Mike experiences a large variety of insane moments in the shop, from dim-witted and demanding customers, and also an armed robbery, all in the course of the first 10 minutes of his shift. Well, I spoke to Alex and Luke, and I started off by asking Alex for a little...
Is Reduced to Clear, it follows Mike as he goes through the roughest shift of his life, and I mean, we can't really go into depth of what it is, but it takes place in a charity shop, and there we go.
Yeah, it's our second interview about what we can't talk about. Yeah. Stupid things that happen to a charity shop volunteer, all within the first 10 minutes of his shift, of increasing stupidity, I'd say.
So how far into the editing process are you? Is it still sort of all rough at the moment, or is it all cut together yet?
We're getting there quicker than we think.
Are we allowed to, do you want to say what percentage we think we are done?
Yeah, I was going to say 50, but adding grading and, music and stuff, probably about 40 odd. But, yeah, suggested to Alex, I was like, we'll have it done around December, because I made a film a couple of years ago. Gotten that with that, we didn't have microphones, so everyone used their phone mics, and then we had to sync them all up and make it sound good. With this, we've got professional sound guy, professional sound equipment, almost 8 tracks for every scene. It's the easiest thing I've ever had to edit, and I'm sure you would...
I haven't been around in the editing, so I don't know what would be hard, but I know that this is for sure, really convenient, especially with it's a lot of tracks.
Yeah, you get the odd bit of, oh no, so-and-so is breathing a little bit too loud at this point, and it's like, oh, well, we'll just turn down their mic and keep... So huge shout-out to Billy Bannister, our sound guy, who kindly came and recorded all that for us.
How long did the actual filming take?
3 days. Yeah. 1 day of setup, 3 days of filming.
Which it went very fast, but that is how many days.
If you'd had a week, it would have taken a week, wouldn't it?
We had some points... We didn't get time stressed, but we felt like, another half an hour would be very helpful. But, we managed to do it, actually, now that you say that. But we managed to do it. And
our budget would not stretch to hotels for us.
No. And I think we should probably say, we did, they were quite fullish days. They went from, should I say, it was when was the earliest start?
8:30 was makeup and all the rest. Yeah. So most days you probably didn't start filming till about 10.
Yeah.
Who was in the film then that people might know?
In the lead, we've got a London-based actor who's appeared in a couple of short films and stuff. Probably not a face or name you'd recognise, but someone who we're pretty sure headlining stuff.
Yeah, he is.
We received his audition and he was amazing. And he's a guy called Edward Tidy.
The manager, guys. It's a great role, and Simon Fisher Beckett, who you probably will recognise, as he is known for his role in Doctor Who as Dorian Maldovar.
So in Harry Potter as the Fat Friar.
As the Fat Friar.
I was going to say, very briefly with Simon, about 5 or 6 years ago, I travelled to West Brom to go to a Comic-Con, especially to meet him. And then, the idea that we got 3 days of directing him, and he's just the loveliest... people have snobbery about them, but he was just, nicer than you could ever imagine, as was everyone, because they're all here working for free, but, yeah.
So, actually, that's quite a good point. I mean, you're two young guys making a film. What's it like to direct these people who are, some of them very experienced actors?
Surprising how I was starstruck at points, but it was amazingly cool how they were, really easy, and I knew they would be, because they're experienced, but... I thought there'd be some level of cross as we thought with some people, but that didn't happen at all. Everybody was working super well together, and it was cool to see all these people from different parts of film and TV interacting that I wouldn't expect to normally interact. So
yeah,
that was
it's definitely that. It's like, so one like who was in The Office, and like we're seeing him, chatting with this guy from Doctor Who. They've
Yeah.
not worked together.
so that's a crossover.
And it's yeah, there were the odd moments of starstruckness that were like really, really random. I think like meeting them and chatting with them at first, like a lot of them we'd obviously like spoken to about but like there were a couple of moments where like midway through the scene, my brain would go, "That's Dorian from Doctor Who," and it's there's one scene which can't really talk about, but the first customer, Alex, and what prop they had to use.
Yeah,
Seeing
I know.
that actor with that prop
is
weirdly
surreal.
was one of the first weird moments where I was like, this is insanely cool.
Yeah.
And of course people will have to wait till the film's out to hear that.
Yeah,
But we also dated down the cast list. We've got someone called Dawn Butler, who plays the role in Doctors as Pat Dyson. I believe she still has a recurring. I think she still pops up in it from now and again as the Swindler, which is an intriguing character name that we can't discuss just yet. We've got John Archer, who regularly performs alongside Tim Vine. He's my all-time favourite comedians.
So we've got Sarah Malanga, who's playing Lily, and we've got Carl Greenwood, who's playing Pete. Sarah's most known for her work as a Meghan Markle lookalike, but she's also like a great actress. So she caught our eye the role because she just fits it, doesn't she?
She just had that energy, yeah. And people aren't going to be watching the film and getting distracted and thinking we're making some sort of comment about, oh, what's Meghan Markle doing in a charity shop? There's there's none of that. We've got a wonderful hair and makeup team, and her performance turns her into Lily.
Another underrated actor. He is brilliant as well. He does short films. I think that's what he goes for.
So we got a guy called Winter Phonander who plays Threatening Man, who's just one of the many customers that comes in. And Winter is an Irish stand-up comic, but also a fan at first for the lead role of Mike in our film. And we just really liked his comedy chops, but it wasn't quite right for the role of Mike. So we got in touch with him and was like, any chance you'd be okay with this other role? And he lost the script when we asked him to audition. So ad-libbed an entire tape as a threatening, angry customer in a shop. And it was one of the funniest things we'd ever seen, where it was like, yep, that guy is getting this part. Do you want to talk about Nanette, Alex?
Oh, Nanette is a jam-packed, whole massive thing about Nanette is she is the UK's most famous. Luke, you go.
Over 1,000 a report 5 years ago.
And she can't even remember everything. Everything's not even documented.
My parents had a lovely time chatting with her between scenes, going through photos and everything. And at points I wished, could I just stop directing and just look at these photos?
Yeah.
Because they'll just come on this for 3 days, and it's just like, oh, you just know all these cool stuff about our cast that that we don't get to find out.
So what would be the most famous thing that people might have seen her in?
Very recently she was in Cruella. She had a line within the first. If you know her face, you probably know her from Derek, the Ricky Gervais sitcom set in an old people's home, as she was one of the regular main characters as one of the old people in the old people's home. She plays Annie, I believe, who ends up going on a date with Derek's dad in series 2. Minor spoilers there. To her 4. And sort of, it was like a friend of a friend who put us in touch with Nanette. And as soon as we looked at the list of things she was in, it was like, there's no way she'd be happy to do this. But nope, she was. And she was, as is everyone, an absolute delight to work with. We've also got Ewan McIntosh, who is the executive producer for our film. He's most known for playing Keith in the UK version of The Office. But he was also in things he appeared briefly in The Lobster. He was in Little Britain, Miranda. He did a film called Shed of the Dead. And he was just amazing to have on exec producing. He kickstarted everything. And to be able to have someone of his caliber appear in our film was just insane. And he was so lovely to have on board. It was his first time, according to IMDb, exec producing. So it's a great honour.
Is Josh Gill, who you have seen. If you've watched Man Like Mo Bean, he has got a couple of, he's in that a couple times.
The final person we've got who just did voiceover work, so we didn't get to work with him on set, but we spoke with him online. Almost every British sitcom you've ever watched. He's probably most known for being Neil's dad in The In-Betweeners. I think he does other, serious stuff. I think he's in Peaky Blinders. I haven't seen it, but I'm pretty sure he's in Peaky Blinders. And like he's just got one of those faces and one of those voices that you recognise instantly. And for this, once again, context we can't discuss. We thought it would be fun to have a really recognisable voice, and he definitely has one. And once again, was a very, very surreal time because it was quite early in production that he came on board. So very, very surreal having just like a half-hour WhatsApp chat. Considering how some of his characters are really, really stuck up, he is so incredibly nice. Which, I mean, you think you know that of actors. You know, they're not like their characters. But there's still a weird level of surprise when you go, oh, you're really, really nice.
I've got a clip to play which you've sent me, which I've cut to back. This clip is before we play it.
Simon Fisher-Becker and Dawn Butler, there was one part in the film, Alex wasn't right, where I don't know what's saying Alex if you don't know. By the way, Alex, there's one part where we just wanted muffled arguing heard in the background. So this was like, I think, right at the end of day 2.
He's not your baby anymore.
He's my
Have you looked in the mirror recently? He's not your baby. He's a young man that he's very promising.
If you were a mother, you would understand. If you've had a baby, that'll always be your baby. I changed his nappies, and I'll change anything for him. I'll change his lunchbox, I'll change...
About his lunchbox, please. Now,
Oh,
I think I'm going to have to bar you.
I beg your pardon.
Yes, you are barred from this charity.
You can't bar me!
As I said before, I'm the manager.
I don't care. My son is working for you for nothing.
Barred.
No, I'm in the shop. My son will always let me in the shop because I am his mother, okay? No, I don't accept it. You can't bar somebody from a charity shop. That's stupid. I mean, how's the charity going to get any money?
They get plenty of money without likes of you.
When is this film going to be released?
Saying like January, I think. That was our initial plan, was we'll hold a premiere in January. But with everything being quicker than it is, it will be January or before.
Yeah. January at the very latest, I think.
I was trying to think of how to find out and how to stay Middle Films, and on Instagram at Mr. Middle Films.
Yeah.
And if you just check out on those pages, then we will be promoting the heck out of it. And I assume a lot of our cast, if you just search them up on Twitter or Facebook, whatever, I'll ask them to like retweet. But yeah, we're hoping to have a proper kind of screening premiere event, and then probably a few festivals before going online, maybe in like a year.
Yeah, which feels like ages away, but I know it'll come quick.
It took a year to make it.
Yeah.
Which initially I was like, a DVD for a short film, that seems odd, but the number of people who've asked for DVDs, it's like, oh no, we could jam pack it with some bonus features, pop those outtakes on. We pop, maybe snippets of interviews like this on
storyboards and stuff,
Storyboards,
like just behind the scenes stuff. It'll be weird.
It's weird because there's been so much build up to actually getting it done that now it's like, what do we say other than it went really, really well? And just thank you to anyone who's listening who was involved in the film, either as crowdfund donators, like we had donations, going up to like 250. Expect anyone to have as much faith in our project, and the amount of people who came on, the amount of local businesses that supported us, and either provided their services or made donations and just won a sponsorship credit. What started as two friends trying to make a little bit coming, I think, kind of something that brought the community together, and something that has become a story that I'm hearing a lot of people kind of talking about, like people who I didn't know were interested. I get messages from people being like, how's Reduced to Clear going?
Same,
it's like,
actually.
It's an uplifting story about the kindness of people, as in the production of our film is an uplifting story about the kindness of people, which I think we all really needed over with what's happened these past couple of years. And so it's been a real...